What up, guys? It's Chris. Today we're going to be talking about something that I find pretty interesting, and that's going to be my 2021 computer setup upgrade. We're going to talk about my setup right now and how we're going to upgrade it, what we're going to change, what we're going to keep, things of that nature. So I just wanted to start by kind of showing you guys my current setup right now, what I use for Unreal Engine, what I use for previs and stuff like that, kind of how I look at my information and things like that. So we'll start with this picture here. You can kind of see my desk. My laptop is running Grand MA. I think I have everything else just kind of minimized so you can see the background and how nice it is. And of course, I got my iced coffee. And you can see the tower down there in the corner. It's a pretty simple setup. I do like the double monitor and the one 4K kind of directly in front of me there. This is just a little bit closer up of my PC here. You can see it's really dusty and such. This is just a little B-roll of the network switch I have mounted to my desk and the SDI card in the back, and it takes me forever to focus. So yeah, that's kind of the current setup, and what I'd like to do is I have a 10 space rack in my spare bedroom that I'd like to kind of convert everything and put this into. So if we look at this diagram that I've drawn here, kind of directly in the center, we can see the current plan for the new rack. You can see at the top I have one rack mount network switch. I have a couple empty spaces below that. Below that, I have a 1U Synology rack mount NAS. That's going to be part 3 of this video, so we won't talk too much about that. Under that, we have the 4-space PC case, the rack mount PC case that we're going to be expecting in the mail in the next couple days. And below that, in the very last rack space, is the 1U APC battery backup. If you look next to it, I have a similar diagram of another kind of rack that I own, and this one is a little more finished, if you will. This one's a bit taller. I don't know exactly how big it is. It has, a Furman at the top, a keyboard drawer, and it has a 3U rack mount computer. We're going to be stealing some of the parts from this road case rack because I don't have any current plans for it at the moment, as there's not a ton of shows happening, and it makes sense to just steal those parts and bring them home so that I can use them at home instead of buying more where, money's tight right now. So yeah, again, I'll just show you a little B-roll of the setup here. So you can see there's a little monitor that sits on top, and I just have Resolume open in this particular instance. You can see the gear I talked about, the computer and the battery backup at the bottom. This is the back here. That was rack mount network switch at the top. I have a bunch of powered USBs to power some decimators and other things like that. And those just go right from the graphics cards. And you can see back in Resolume, I have output 1 and 2 little graphics respectively on their separate outputs. And, in the advanced setup, I show you that they're on different screens. And this is me. I'm at a college right now where my rack is. That's why I have a mask on. But I show you that how the rack kind of, I use it as a Resolume server and how it terminates the SDI. going back to our computer at home, will I use it for Resolume? Probably a little bit here and there. But the main part is going to be Unreal Engine, Carbon for Unreal, and maybe a couple other previs type things here, there, and everywhere. We also borrowed that 3U rack mount computer from the road case and brought it to my second story apartment, which is much easier to carry instead of the whole road case. We took that computer home, and we're doing some fun things with that computer as a secondary or a third machine in the process here. So now let's just take a quick look at the parts that I have for our new setup here. This is the 10-space rack that I've had. I've had this for years and years and years. This was originally what I had, and then I had bought the road case. We had evolved to that, and now I'm kind of devolving back to this at home. This is the battery backup that we just saw in the rack mount road case that we stole, and we're going to be installing in our 10 space. Yeah, the same thing with the switch. This is the one we just looked at in our rack mount road case. I ended up buying some screws, some rack mount screws from Amazon, because I wanted these to be nice and not stripped, and all the ones that I had collected over time were getting to the end of it. And this is kind of the finished product for now. The last thing that we're waiting on is the rack mount case itself, and I'm not too eager to take my new computer apart and switch everything into the other computer case just yet, because part 2 of this series, I'm going to be upgrading my motherboard and my CPU, which is something I haven't done for about 6 years at this point. So we're a little bit behind, and this is going to be a really big upgrade in terms of power. So I'm really excited to share with you guys and get everything cooking here. So that'll be part 2. Part 3 will be installing a NAS and some hard drives and backing up our data and creating our own cloud and things of that nature. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed, and hope some people are half as excited about this as I am.